Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bold Book of the Day. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson, and this podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today's episode is with Miss Lia Monet. Welcome, Lia. I am so glad to have you here.
Hi there. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, I already like you because of some back end things that happened. But first of all,
Listen.
okay, you're a girl, like you're a true friend. Okay, this girl is a true friend, and every woman needs a true friend. So tell me a little bit more about yourself before we get into Giving Grace. She is one of the authors of Giving Grace, and I want to know a little bit more about yourself because your story is deep. So I want you to tell me a little bit more about you before we get into your story.
Okay. So I am I'm a lot of things. I'm a wife, I'm a mom. I have a business called Heck Life, which basically I help women navigate entrepreneurship while having a hectic life. I am Oh, I am a daughter. I am a friend. I am an auntie. I'm so many things to so many people.
Beautiful. Now, all right, let's get right into it. Your story is incredibly powerful and it's raw, I would say. So, what inspired you to share such an intimate story and such an intimate experience with the world?
When I was first tasked to join this author lineup for Giving Grace Volume 1, I was moved immediately. It's literally 13 stories from 13 moms, and they're transparent stories. And we all shared our stories in hopes that it would help other people to feel seen. Although all of our stories are deep, all of our stories have layers to it, but none of them are unique. But one common thing that we said as a line is when you're not telling the story, the next person who's going through it feels like they're alone. When no one
Yeah.
else is sharing their story, you feel like you're alone. So it's all about like sharing our story in hopes of like disrupting the feeling of isolation for people.
Yes. Oh, I love that because I am an advocate for storytelling. And so I realize that when people find out that someone else has gone through something that they've gone through, they just feel like a burden, is
Absolutely.
off of their shoulders. And I realize
Almost
that every
instantly.
single, yes, just like a wow, you too. And that's probably why the Me Too program or the Me Too, um, I won't say it was
Movement.
a movement. I think that movement
Yeah.
was really strong and effective because it resonated with people who were like, "Oh my god, I thought I was the only one." And now the burden was lifted for them too, just by saying me too. So, you
Right.
know, I appreciate that and I love your story and I love that building connection with other women is one of the underpinning of this story because it's not just a single mom or it's not just a mom, it's just shared similar experiences and that seemed to play a significant role in your healing process, right?
Hmm. Right.
How was the or how important was the sense of community in your journey?
Um, it's a lot of layers to that. So the sense
Mhm.
of community first of being one of 13 authors is I'm not an author. Oh, I didn't consider myself an author before, right? Once I write some stuff, it sounds good, right? But I don't have that flow that I thought an author should have, or like a regimen or anything that to me I think authors have. So right off the bat, just having 12 other sisters in it, and when I first came into the project, I thought I might have been the only one who isn't, already and on. But we all were just women who wanted to tell our story, who knew how important it would be to tell our story. So we were going to get through that nervousness or that, feeling inferior by any means necessary so that we can get to the story, so that we can get to the purpose of the journey.
And when you did your first draft, you passed the meetings, because I've done anthologies before, so I understand that there are a lot of different variables that go into just having this book. But one of them is the first draft. How was writing the first draft for you?
I was proud of my first draft, but still nervous about how it would be received. I had some play on words. I cuss. So there's one or two in there, but I feel like that they are well placed, and there's intention about where they're placed. So I was just kind of nervous about the feedback and things like that, but I was proud of the first draft.
One of the whole setbacks for people who are intending to become authors, they really judge themselves so harshly from that first draft. They're like, oh my goodness, it's not going to work. It's never going to work. But it's just like with anything, when you do it the first time, it's not perfect. But it doesn't mean you should give up. But, go back to it, write some more, read some more, especially when you're writing. That's the time to read. A lot of times people think that they cannot read or they shouldn't be reading when they should be focused on writing. But reading really helps to inspire you and give you more creative juices. So the first draft for you were very proud.
Well, then let me specify then. So when you said the first draft that I turned into the publishers, by the time I got to that point, I was, proud of my work. But of course, for everything that you just described, like leading up to that first submission, it definitely took a lot of rereading and, reworking sentences and just trying to make sure that what I'm intending to convey is coming across. Because a lot of times, because we live the stories that we're telling. So for us to say something real quick, knowing because we know the background of it, we have to make sure, but am I telling enough detail so that someone who is not familiar with my story truly understands what's happening, truly understand what my feeling was going through, what I was going through. So making sure, or trying to make sure, that the reader is going to convey exactly what it is that you're saying. Yeah, it was a lot. It was ups and downs and rounds and everything else. So,
oh my goodness, isn't it? But isn't it wonderful that you came through that experience as the author that you intended to be, with a beautiful message?
Oh, yeah. That's the part I guess I would say that I'm proud of, because it took a while to get there.
Yes.
It took a while to get there. But again, if it can help anyone else not feel like they're alone, or not feel like their experience is something that no one else will understand, then it's worth it.
You have a beautiful perspective on embracing setbacks and finding gratitude in moments of disappointments, and that's truly inspiring. Can you talk more about how you cultivate that mindset?
I would just say that I have been through enough. I have received enough. Enough wonderful things have happened for me inexplainably, that I know for a fact there is a God, and God don't play about me.
Yes.
I know that for sure.
Yes.
I've had enough of those experiences that I know that for sure. So when there are setbacks or things that maybe I truly don't understand why something is happening, I know without a doubt it has to be for a bigger reason, that my perspective, at my viewpoint, my vantage point at the time doesn't necessarily allow me to see. But I know it's something going on behind the scenes, that is ultimately for my greater good. If that makes sense.
God is in charge.
And don't play about me. I'm serious.
And don't play about you. Okay, guys, don't forget that part. God is in charge and God don't play about her, okay? And that's a beautiful message to share with the world that, first of all, I serve a creator that loves me and takes care of me, and he's got my back. So no matter what, I don't understand. This may feel like a setback now, but it's really a setup for a comeback, okay? So I like that your story highlights the complexities of grief and resilience and ultimately finding joy in all kinds of places, unexpected places. So, what message do you hope the readers or the listeners take from your journey?
I think it's the same theme that we've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
is that finding you have to be intentional, I'm sorry, about
Mm-hmm.
finding, I say, the joy in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You have to decide. Sometimes it's a decision. Sometimes you have to tell yourself that this is going to be my outlook, or you have to tell yourself that I am going to find the lesson in what it is. And I'm thinking, so
Yes.
my particular chapter is about my husband and I experienced multiple miscarriages at one
Yes.
point in our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that's what my chapter is about, a lot of times when I speak about it, um, I'm not just talking about loss or grief or miscarriage, just in general. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
have to be intentional about whatever it is that is going on. Um, yeah, you have to be intentional about deciding that you're going to find the little livelihoods, the little moments, the joy that's on whatever journey you're on.
How did your husband um, cope? I know this story is written about your journey together, but how did he cope with such intense loss?
I would say in the beginning and for a while, and keep in mind also that my husband and I have been married 20 years. Um, we've had a lot of communication lessons, and how we see each other. Like we've been through a lot. So now looking back, I know for sure that at the time he was needing to be my rock.
Mm.
That was important for him.
Oh wow. So that probably was
Hold
his.
on.
Oh girl, yes. Ooh.
Hold on. This is not what I was going to do today.
That's okay. This is a safe space because this is a community of women that we love each other. And so go ahead and,
Yeah.
take your time, but share.
So I feel like, in the moments, in the time that it was happening, it was definitely, he took my lead. So if I was having a good day, then he was supporting my good day. He was having a good day too. If I wasn't, he was picking up the slack, or whatever needed to be done to support me in the days that I wasn't having such a good day. Right. So that was in the moment. But time has passed, years later, and then we actually had more conversation about it later. There wasn't a lot of conversation in the midst.
Yes.
It was just a lot of,
Action.
I guess, our feelings were our communication, and
Mm.
that's pretty much it.
And you knew each other enough and loved each other enough to just let silence lead.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
was your rock.
Yes.
Now, it's important to share these things because in our community, in our world, we don't celebrate men enough. I believe that we we don't listen to them enough. And so it's
Mhm.
important that you just shared that about your journey and how your husband was supportive. So ladies, there are some supportive men out there,
There
okay?
really are, and there's a lot. There's a lot. I think the other side of the spectrum, I feel like it's salacious to, talk about and, this social media. So anything else like squeaky wheels get the oil. So people are very vocal when that's not the case. But there's a lot of solid, true men, Black men in particular.
Yes.
They're out there. They're out there. There's a lot of them.
So tell me about when you get around the anniversary of a loss. How do you cope with that?
I can honestly say I don't have significant issues or problems when the anniversaries roll around. I don't. I'm okay.
Good. Have you found that therapy helped you, or it was just good counsel, or just being with a rock or somebody that was so supportive?
I will say I therapy came years later. In the moment, it was women finding other women who had that shared similar experience. And for me, again, going back to, how we open the show, is just knowing that it was not just me, because there were days where it absolutely felt like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my body? What's happening? What did I do? So it was women. I found my first online community, Baby Center. I'm still friends with a lot of the women that I met on Baby Center at the time. I have one particular friend who we had losses at the same time. I don't know how, and we're states away. I never met her in person, but even now we have continued to have children after that, and our children their birthdays are like a week apart. At one point we did have the same due date.
That's your
So
sister.
it's crazy, but just right.
Yeah.
So I would say community saved me.
Yeah.
Community absolutely saved me.
Wow. That's one of the pillars of strong mental health. Great communication, but having a community that's just there for you. Sometimes it's in silence, and sometimes it's to say, we hear you. Yeah. So now that you've come through such a profound experience, Lia, how do you approach challenges that are pale in comparison to what you've been through, and challenges that are also reminiscent of the uncertainty? How do you approach those now?
I'm not sure if I even have one approach. It's it's just so situational, right? But it's continuing to exercise that faith muscle, is continuing to think about the overall picture, the greater, good. How does something fit into my life? How does something fit into my marriage?
Yes.
And just, situation by situation.
One step at a
And try
time.
not to stress, girl.
Yes.
You try not to. Some things it's easier said than done sometimes. Of course, we're still gonna, stress it out about certain things. So just try not to.
Yeah, it seems like you manage stress very well. You said you were married for 20 years, and you
Sometimes.
look like 20 yourself. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes, but it's, again, like I said, being when you're reminded by things, that anything that you got after hard work or struggle, or maybe you were disappointed a few times before you finally were able to attain something or get something. Those things remain reminders. Like, oh, I remember when I was stressing about X, Y, and Z, but now look, I remember when I thought I wasn't going to get this because it kept not happening, but what I got was even better than I wanted in the first place. So when you still have those reminders in your life, now whenever I am, going through something, or something didn't work out the way you wanted to, or something it feels like it's taking you much longer to achieve or do whatever it is that you sought after, you can be reminded like, okay, but I remember the last time I was struggling. I remember the last time something didn't come through. I remember the last time, my timetable was not the timetable that it ended up being. And it came out glorious.
Amen.
So yeah, that's what helps you.
What role did your spirituality or your spiritual relationship play in your coping?
I would just, how did it play in my coping?
Yes, or did it any at all cope? For some people, they look to their God, their higher power, and just have a different relationship because of what they're going through. And so what role did your spirituality play? Did it, was it first, or did it just was a support and underpinning of what you're going through, and God was there for you and that's it? But how did your spirituality come into play with what you were going through?
I questioned my, spirituality. I won't pretend, anything else. There were times, because like I said, it wasn't just one loss. So the first one, I think I definitely chalked that one up like, okay, shit happens. I was, online, and I think the statistics are maybe like 1 in 4. They're as high as 1 in 4, pregnancies, don't make sense. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. We'll try again. But it was the subsequent ones where I was like, so what did I do, God? Like, what? Yeah. Why are you punishing me specifically? So there was ebbs and flows with my spirituality. At the time, there's no way for me to, act like it wasn't tough. It was a tough journey.
Wow. Looking back on your journey, what did you wish you had known and understood then? And earlier.
If we're talking about wishes, I wish that I could see into the future and just know it was going to be okay. Because there were some days where it did not feel like that. It didn't.
What's the most important message that you would like to share with a woman that's going through, not just a woman is going through loss, but a couple that is going through a similar experience?
Don't bottle it up.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's as simple as that.
Yes. Find resources, find a community.
Yeah. Of course, first and foremost, I would suggest or hope that you can find that in each other. But if that's outside of you, if your good sister or, your husband's homeboy, whoever it is that can even just listen, they don't even have to talk back sometimes. They don't even have to have an answer. It doesn't even necessarily have to be counsel specifically. Okay. If they can just listen.
Yes. Find someone that can listen. Tell me more about your platform, Her Hectic Life.
So Her Hectic Life, like I said, I help women navigate entrepreneurship, specifically women who already have a lot on their plate, already have hectic lives. For some people, they might be a wife. You don't have to be. You might have kids. You don't have to. You might have a full-time career as well as the business that you're building. People are in school. I have women in my community who are going back to school, who are going back for their PhDs, who are, active in their churches and ministries, who are active in other, like community activities. So we have a hectic life. And for some reason we're like, oh, Let me just add entrepreneurship into that.
More hectic,
You know,
okay?
a
Compounding
wild and
the
crazy.
issues.
And I think it goes back to, like I said, community saved me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to be able to provide community camaraderie to women. Entrepreneurship it tends not to be something that people in our community are being passed down. We don't tend to have the blueprint like, some of our counterparts who might, their families have been, we won't get into that. But
we could, okay?
But we could. So
it's important, it is a
for
part.
For a lot of us, entrepreneurship is we're the first generation to tackle entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things that I wish I knew or had at a certain level of my business is mm-hmm. what I thrive to create for women in business and brands. I have events. I have a conference every January called Ladies Who Launch. It's a 3-day conference. It started as a 1-day conference. We built it up to a 3-day conference at this point with workshops and presenters and pop-up shops and scholarships and things like that. In May, I have what is called Her Hectic Excursion. And it's just like a cute little weekend trip for busy women. We get to, chuck the deuces to our household for a weekend and enjoy each other's company and have fun. And then I have a membership group called Eta Lambda. And that is similar to a sorority, but it's not a sorority. And it is for women in business. Eta Lambda are the Greek letters for HHL. So it quite literally stands for Her Hectic Life. And we have membership openings twice a week, and we provide resources for each other. We share opportunities with each other. We collaborate with each other. We have initiatives for young entrepreneurs. We have scholarships and business fairs and things like that for entrepreneurs in the community.
Beautiful. I want to hear more about that conference, because it sounds like that's a great place, a great community, for not just women who have gone through certain things or women who are entrepreneurs, but if you're just a woman who needs a community, a place to find someone to look up to help you with what you're going through, to give you some advice. Here's a community. And that's in January, this conference?
So we have had 5 conferences and they have been in January. It's funny because the 2025 one, I'm moving to February.
Okay.
And it's since we're moving to February, so we're going to celebrate that it's Black History Month, and we're going to celebrate that it's Love Month. So the theme of the conference in 2025 is the Crush on You conference. Mm-hmm. And we're going to liken our business to a love interest, like going back to having that crush on our businesses and committing to our businesses and, courting our customers and things like that. I can't wait. This is going to be the best one.
Where are you located?
Hampton, Virginia.
Okay. I'm like February in New York. Okay. So now I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's winter and snow and all of that. But I'm thinking, let me see where she's from. So Virginia, and that's a beautiful time of year in Virginia. It's not that, well, it is cold, but it's not that snowy like we have up here.
I'm from New York.
Yes.
Right.
I can hear the hustle in you.
Snow.
Okay.
We don't get the snow in Virginia, but it is cold.
Yes. Okay. So that's
we haven't had snow this season though. This winter.
I want an invitation to next February's, because I think it's a community that I'd like to be a part of.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And if anybody can follow, the conference has an IG, is Ladies Who Launch Conference on Instagram.
Woo. You got that. Say it again.
Ladies Who Launch Conference.
Okay.
All one word.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing, some intimate parts of your your life and sharing a beautiful message. You know, we need this. We need more of this. We write these stories because we want to give hope and inspiration. And I believe that you have found a community, a place, and a beautiful book. In a beautiful book, you've propositioned this story. I really love that Giving Grace is out there giving grace to the women who need it and giving them that hope and inspiration. Where can they find your book or your story in the book Giving Grace?
My story is chapter 3 in
Okay.
Giving Grace, volume 1. You can explore the book or purchase the book on my website, and that's herhecticlife.com/author. Will take you
Mhm.
directly to the book page.
Okay. So get your copy there, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done any book signings?
So I had a book signing in June planned, but my hectic life, I needed to cancel it. I had 2 babies graduating that during that time of the year. I had my son who was coming out of elementary school and my daughter who was coming out of middle school. So it was a lot going on. I ended up having to postpone it and I never rescheduled it. But I think for
Girl.
Mother's Day, I'm going to do like a relaunch. I'm thinking
Yes.
about doing like a proper book signing because I like to host people. I like to entertain. I have a sub brand called Charcuterie and Shit.
Uh-huh.
So charcuterie being like a buzzword right now, everyone is into like charcuterie boards and things like that. But the real is the kind of person who I am. I was always into, little meat and cheeses and putting things out so that I can have my girlfriends over, so that we can have girlfriend therapy, so that we can, sometimes y'all just need to get together and maybe not everybody has the money to go out to like a full on, fancy brunch, but we still need that camaraderie and that girl time. So
Yeah.
you just, what we got in here, cheese, crackers, a little wine. Okay, everybody come over. So charcuterie and shit just kind of symbolizes the coming together of women, having fun together, talking about and bringing each other up to speed. We're going to talk about, that man and them kids and that job. We're going to celebrate whoever got a promotion. We're going to talk bad about, if somebody just broke up with somebody, we're going to talk bad about him, of course. But we're going to do cute bites and, sips. And so that's the kind of person I am in general. So I think I am going to have a proper book signing, a little champagne toast.
As you should. Your story deserves,
Yeah.
to be out there. And the more you talk about it, the more you promote it, the more the message will get into the hands of the people who need it. So I
Yeah.
believe you should. Now, there are 3 questions I like to ask all my guests before they go. And number 1, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
You came ready, okay? What's one bold promise that you can share with the audience?
A bold promise to share. I just promise to continue to exercise my faith. And sometimes, some days, that's more of a bold promise than others.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's a bold thing to do, is to just exercise that faith muscle.
Yes. What's one bold statement you can share with the audience that will cause a paradigm shift?
I think it's don't dwell on the why me, but truly consider, wow, what was I just saved from when that thing didn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
Why me? But what was I saved from? Because we don't know what that ripple effect was going to be and why that didn't go through. We don't know.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yeah, I've
That's
I've I've been
beautiful.
moved with gratitude to tears before.
Mm-hmm.
Thankful that something didn't happen. Something that I thought I wanted didn't happen. But I'm grateful it didn't because I don't know what that ripple effect was going to be.
I understand. Oh, God, do I understand? Because God is in charge. And so, what his protection looks like is different from what we think his protection looks like. It's in
And
the
we don't
things
know.
that we want and we're running after, and we think this is it. It's got to go just like this. And then he stops it, and we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is what I want. And he's like, hold up. I'm in charge. I
You
got
know, look.
something bigger, better. And probably it's not as big and grand as you want, but it provides such a quality of life that you're like, whoa, you know.
Ooh, that just gave me chills.
Because we don't know. Like, I remember last 2 years ago, I was going to a business conference that I was looking forward to go to for from February. The conference was in November, and I was looking forward to go to the conference from February. And November comes around. I've been packed. I've been so excited. I've been packed. And me and my husband was, ready to go to conference. We're at the airport. Oh, your flight changed. Uh, okay. Because it's foggy, they're like, okay, now your flight is not just delayed. First it was delayed. Now the flight is canceled. And I'm like, okay. And what are we going to do about this? They're like, okay, we're going to take care of it. We have put you on another flight for tomorrow. I was like, my conference starts today. I have to be there today.
Yeah.
And so I'm, you know, all worked up now because I'm like, I got to get there. I have to get there. Call my virtual assistant. I'm like, listen, get me on another flight because these people are playing games. I got to be there. I
Mhm.
told my husband, we're going to the next part of the airport because we're getting on another flight. And we run
Right.
around the airport and we get to another, we're booked for another flight on a total different airline.
Mhm.
And we get ready to board, and the announcements came on that flight was canceled also because of the weather in that area. The weather here is
Where
cleared
you're
up,
going.
but now the weather
Yeah.
there has changed.
Which makes it so much worse because you're looking out the window like it's fine.
Okay. And I'm telling that story because that story I cried on my way home from the airport
Yeah.
because we didn't end up going anywhere. And I was so upset. I was like, I planned, I prepared. This is going to be so good
Mhm.
for my business. I'm going to learn so much.
Mhm.
And look, I was going to learn so much and blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, I cried all the way home. Okay. I didn't want to be consoled. I just wanted to
Mhm.
just be mad that I wasn't going and
Yeah.
it wasn't going my way. Let me tell you, I didn't get to go to that conference, but I have now, because of not being able to go to that conference, I've now invested so much more in my business because I've
Mhm.
thought I was going to miss out on the teachings, on the different things that could take my business to a different level. And what I've done, I've learned that when there's a disappointment, figure out what's the message, that what did you learn from that. And I learned that I wanted to go to that because I wanted to build up my business. So what I did was just I started reading a book a week. I used to read a lot, but now I was like a book a week on business, a book a week on business.
Mhm.
And so oh my goodness, I my business has changed drastically because of that.
See? And you just want to cry.
Uh,
You just
so
want to cry. But that's
God is
when
in
I say
charge, honey.
some days, having faith is a bolder proclamation of the days. Now on that day, it was a little bit tougher for you to have faith
Yeah.
than,
Yes.
maybe something else. So
Yes.
sometimes that is a bold a bold decision.
Yes. God is in charge. So, what's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future? Because I can see you. I hear the hustle in you. I hear the entrepreneurship in you. I hear the woman in you. I hear the multiple hats in you. What have you got for
Hey.
the future?
I mean, for the future, I would just like to create a life that allows me to move freely, to travel freely, so that I can increase my impact on a greater level.
Yes. that's one of the keys to happiness. Just being able to move freely and not be confined by, oh my God, I have to come back to work on Monday. Oh my God, I
Mm-hmm.
have to, I can't leave because, it's a busy time in the business, So
Yeah.
being able to operate your
Yeah.
business from anywhere in the world and just travel and
Yeah.
enjoy our world with the time that we have.
Yeah, to travel without thinking about it. Like I'm not the type, like
Mhm.
I don't need like private jet access or anything, but just to
Right.
be able to, travel, just to make sure like, hey, my kids can come too if they need to, not stressing about any of that. Yeah, that's
But you know what? I hear you that you don't need a private jet, but you know what? Don't block that because you don't know what God have in store for
well.
you. Girl, God got some stuff in store for you. And so guess what? Guess what? That may be the next thing. Maybe he's got
Okay.
that private
You're
jet.
right.
Yes, yes.
You're
And
right.
sometimes we
Look,
say these
wait,
things.
wait, wait. You're right.
I'm bringing you back. I'm bringing you back. Okay.
I love it. I'm there. I'm there. I'm there.
There was a party up in here. Oh my goodness. I knew I was gonna love you. I really do. From the
Yes, I
from the
love you.
from the
Beautiful.
from the emails back and forth, I knew I was going to fall in love with you. And you're a party animal like myself. So thank you so much for your
Mhm.
time. How can the audience connect with you? Again, please share.
Her Hectic Life. So herhecticlife.com, herhecticlife@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest at Her Hectic Life. You can find me at Her Hectic Life. The conference though is Ladies Who Launch Conference on
Mhm.
Instagram. And the membership group that I have is Ada Lambda on Instagram.
You notice I didn't ask you about Eta Eta Lambda because when I read it, I couldn't pronounce it. I was like, I don't know what that is. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes. So Ada Lambda, like I said, it's a membership group, and these ladies are on fire.
Ooh.
Ada Lambda is a game changer
Are they going to be
for
at the
women in
conference too?
entrepreneurship. Absolutely. So Ada
Okay.
Lambda is actually Ada Lambda gives out a scholarship package at my conference.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. And when I say a scholarship package,
Mm-hmm.
it's cash. There's a cash prize associated with it, but we're talking like logos and makeovers and photo shoots. We've given
Mm-hmm.
away. Our packages have included billboard, being on a billboard for a month. Each package is created newly every year, so it's different things. But those are some of the things that have been in past packages, and it's just things that help take a woman's business from one level to the next. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you're invited to Ladies Who Launch. I'm gonna have your invitation to you by the close of the weekend.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. And because it's next year, I can plan ahead. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to being there
Yes,
and
ma'am.
at that time of the year too, as
Yeah.
out of New York, out of the freezing cold and into less cold.
Less freezing cold.
Less freezing cold. Thank you again,
Less freezing
Lia
cold.
Monet.
Yeah, and February is my birthday month.
Ooh,
So yeah, next year is gonna be a really
Pisces
good
in the
time. Ladies Who Launch
house.
next year. Ow, yes, ma'am. I'm still celebrating, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna celebrate to the end of Pisces season. Why
Okay.
not?
I don't blame you. That's how we are. That's how we just take over. If you're a Scorpio, it's the whole season. It's just how we are.
Yeah.
It's not just a birthday. It's a birthday week, a birthday month.
When's your
It's a
birthday?
birthday season. I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
did I
I
did
love
the
it.
same thing. We just captured the whole season.
Yeah. Very
Guys,
water sign of us.
okay. Please go get your copy of Giving Grace and check out the stories. See how impactful they are. See
13
which one.
phenomenal
Oh
stories.
my
Not just
goodness.
mine. They're
Yes.
all phenomenal. I'm so
Well,
proud of my co-authors. I love them.
aw. We have more. We have more coming up, guys. You are going to get at least 4 of the authors are going to be. This is a series. So this week is Lia Monet, but we have 3 more authors from Giving Grace. And so you're going to learn a little bit more about their struggles and how they're inspiring and impactful. And I can't wait for you to get your copy. Please remember, you can get it on, say your website again, Leah.
herhecticlife.com/author.
Okay. Yes. So please go out there and get your book and support. And also, if you found a message in there that resonates with you, reach out to them and let them know. But if you found a message that you can share with a girlfriend, that is more impactful. So, yes, go out there and get your book. If you would like to write a book, but you don't know where to start, check out my website, boldpublishings.com, and schedule your appointment with me because I help you get your book idea out of your head and onto paper so that you can make some money and work from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It was such a pleasure. Please come back again because I know you have big things. All right.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. I
You are
loved it. I love it here.
And you're so welcome.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.